There we go. We are now live, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
Welcome, everyone, to the first of hopefully many of these things, this show that we have put together called Nutrition News. Oh, hang on. There we go. That's how unprofessional we are. I'm obviously Dr. Abs, if you're watching on my channel, and we have the wonderful, immature fellow joker, Phil Escott. And this is a place where, you know, everyone on YouTube, they put videos out teaching this or talking about that, and everyone's got a, you know, a little post out or something great. But nowhere kind of talks about what's happening in the landscape. No one's giving you an update of what's going on with this person, what's happening in the general view of things. Are people going more towards this? Is there a new scientific paper that's been released that's changing everything that people haven't heard about, that they need to know about, etc., etc.? It's the news, but for our little space on the internet and without as much crap in it as the mainstream news, hopefully. So for those on my channel, Phil, do you want to introduce yourself? And I'll do the same for those on your channel.
Okay. Well, I'm Phil Escott. I've got a YouTube channel and a lot of podcasts and things like that out there, and books and courses. And I think what I'm most known for is fixing my own psoriatic arthritis, but also my tremendous immaturity, which hopefully I won't have to restrain on Abs's chat here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's see where we go. We got a few ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is all live, so we have nothing planned because we're that unprepared as usual. And for those on Phil's channel, I'm Abs, or Dr. Abs on my channel. I retired from dentistry many years ago because I got pretty bored and went into a lot of other things, mainly in the cosmetic space, the longevity space. And that's where I find myself now. And recently I was a speaker at Phil's wonderful event in Spain called the Carnivore Retreat. And, you know, there was far too much pranking and joking going on for adults. And, you know, there was definitely, you know, I hid some bread in Phil's jacket, then I hid it in his suitcase. He hid a cauliflower in my toilet bowl. So
yeah, but
you know,
you brought the cauliflower in and hid it in my toilet case. I mean, I would say 99% of the vegetable matter that was brought into the carnivore conference was thanks to Abs. I mean, either that he was just bringing vegetable matter in and hiding it here and there, or he was on Grindr all the time trying to find.
Shut up. And it just kept going round, and it was prank after prank after prank. And we thought, well, let's take advantage of this immaturity and do something together. So that's where we are, and that's how this came about. So we're going to talk to you about a few updates in the space. It's going to be roughly once a month, and it is definitely going to descend into utter levels of depravity along the way. And if you've got any comments, you want to ask questions as we go along, feel free. We've got a couple already. Ribeye Rob, thank you very much for watching. Mark, Magnum Len 1849, greetings from Germany. Thank you very much for watching there. Dankeschön. So the first order of business, I think, that has been going on for the past couple of months actually, is not everyone, but a significant number of people are either leaving the carnivore or augmenting carnivore, whatever word you want to use it, by adding carbs back in. It's been done by quite a few people, notable people with significant followings. I personally, I think if you want to add carbs back in, that's okay. You're not going to be arrested. Like, it's entirely up to you. Go for it. But I personally won't be in that way that they are. And I don't think it's necessarily better for us in terms of health either. What's your thoughts, Phil?
Well, I can reveal that I've been adding them back in. I mean, my main source is cornflakes. Well, you know, when I say cornflakes, I mean mostly the box, because I want to have some of that fiber, that essential fiber, without too many of the plant nutrients, anti-nutrients, that is. And I'm happy to say that I produced a turd with a small picture of a red chicken on the other day. So what I'm hoping to do is get enough skill with that kind of improved elimination from the fiber to eventually have a turd that perfectly resembles Harvey Kellogg. What do you
I
think?
was going to say, yeah, Harvey Kellogg or Tony the Tiger, turd shapes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And did you, when you were laying that turd, did you have to sort of move your body to lay it in a particular shape, or did it just come out in that particular shape? Because also we can't digest it.
Well, it came out perfectly, which is why the picture was on the outside. It was all boxed up. I could have put it in my pocket and taken it home, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Lee Copus, also known as Kent Carnivore on YouTube, he does say that if he was to eat plant matter, like if he cuts a shape into a vegetable, like a mango or a broccoli, when it comes into his colostomy bag, because he had his colon removed, it's actually still in that same shape. So maybe that's why you had a red chicken turd, which it makes perfect sense, actually.
Possibly, and that's why you passed the entire cauliflower into your toilet in Spain.
I did. Untouched. It's still whole as well.
That must have stung a bit. But then again, there was, Bart Kay was talking about Kerry Mann reintroducing probiotics.
Yes, he was, yeah.
And there was a video. Who was it? Was it Sean O'Mara was talking about orgasmic turds? Yeah. That section on orgasmic turds. And I thought, come on, man. No, it really does not feel like that. That section is well worth watching in that Bart video.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's especially not organic if you've had a strong curry as well.
Exactly.
That's it's. I mean, it could be orgasmic, but it could also be something for the fire brigade at the same time. It's stinging. It's like a stinging orgasm. I don't know how you would stinging anal orgasm. I don't know how you would describe that.
I would say that would be a challenging wank.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted depravity. This is
yes, we did. Yes, we did. Welcome to the show, ladies and gents. This is what it's going to be like every month. Yes, it would. It absolutely would, especially if there's a red chicken coming out at the same time. Yeah, that's red ring and a red chicken. At least you've got a thing going there. So yeah, I mean, I think if people want to add carbs back in, it's up to them. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't make a difference to you. You go for it. But I don't think there's a biological argument that you can make to say, chronically adding carbs back in, to the extent that they are, is helpful for our physiology or even essential for our physiology. I think you can be perfectly functioning physiologically without them. If you want to add a little bit here and there, so what? Enjoy yourself, have a balance in your life. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think anyone's put forward a good argument for needing carbs in the diet, i.e. carbs being essential in the diet for this reason or that reason. I think people may experience problems if they are carnivore, but then they miss out certain things that they also need when they're coming from a place of repair or health issues. Like, for example, if you're using a PKD diet, you have the organ meats because you have a higher nutritional requirement, so you need the micronutrients. And so if you miss that, or maybe too much dairy or something like that, I think it's going to cause problems. So overall, personally, I'm not for it. And I think by the sounds of your chicken turds, red chicken turds, and difficult anal ring fire red masturbation techniques, you would be in agreement with me. Is it?
Yeah, I am. I think though it's getting serious for a moment, just a moment. There is a lot of noise about women and thyroid and carbs and things like that, and maybe there is something. Dr. Perhaps, please say willy-nilly.
We'll save it. We'll throw it in when we're least expecting it.
My missus says nilly-willy.
Oh, Christ.
She's always got it the wrong way around. Honestly, you foreigners, it's ridiculous. Anyway.
Still learning.
Yeah, I think that the thing is about all these videos that have gone up. I mean, you've been watching a little bit of Dr. Sarah Zaldivar, and I was with my great friend Rachel Brown, and she's one of the ones who's added carbs back in. And yeah, it'd be interesting to talk to her. But I think that what's going on is such a. I was saying to you today in a chat that we had that. Have we slipped into another dimension or something? Because people are getting so sort of aggressive against carnivore. For me, eat what you like. And I don't think, a bit of fruit and honey wrecked anybody's guts to start with. It was all the processed stuff and the seed oils and the grains and that kind of thing. Yeah. But with this message going out, I find myself in exactly the position that I used to on the paleo groups where everybody's going, oh, look, here's some paleo bread. Here's a paleo dessert. Here's this and that. And people are not going to heal on that. If you want to reintroduce stuff, that's entirely up to you. But my main focus for people who come to me for consults and stuff, they're very, very sick and they're autoimmune.
Yeah.
And I have to say that from my own experience of reversing autoimmunity, you can't take that stuff, at least for a while. Some people maybe can reintroduce it and stuff, but you need to be beef, lamb, salt, and water if you want to reverse autoimmunity. And it's putting out the wrong message, I think, to be attacking carnivore and saying you can have much greater health when you add it back in the carbs. Not to start with. I don't know in time for some people. I really don't know. You know, I'm open. And some of the stuff that that Mary was saying, Mary Ruddock in Spain, you know, it was very interesting about the birth microbes. And maybe some of us who are cesarean, like me, who've taken antibiotics, which I have as well.
And me, yeah.
You know, maybe that there's something that could be reintroduced. Maybe I should, oh dear, I can't stay serious for long. But I think this is maybe why some people are really into sort of munching their misses, maybe. I mean, that's a kind of amusing, but I mean, I wonder. Is
there a microbial benefit in doing that?
Exactly. Is there? I don't know.
Actually, I meant on the show and ask her about that one day.
I meant to ask Mary, and you know how naughty Mary is as well. She'd have been fine. It literally escaped me. I was going to ask her that question.
Yeah,
but you know, I just wonder if there is something in that. I think Mary has got the most interesting stuff I've seen about the microbiome, but even she says she doesn't understand any of it. You know, really.
Mary's got some of the most interesting stuff. I thought you were going to talk about personal experience.
Oh God, no! You took them out clubbing on the last night. You tell me. Abs disappeared with Mary Ruddock and Stephanie Rimker off clubbing, and I mean, what happens in Spain stays in Spain. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got a couple of slaps and sent home. I really have no idea.
I've got a diverse biome now, so I'm good. And I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Very, very good. Very interesting. So they slapped you. You ran off, and you got on Grindr again.
I just couldn't help myself. I thought Spanish countryside. Why not? Let's see what's available.
I know.
Forget Tinder. Let's switch over this time. Oh, God. Right. So all agreed on the carbs, and I think Mary Ruddock. I think she speaks a lot of sense. I think will be the first one to admit she doesn't know everything about the biome.
Yeah.
And you know, neither do I. Neither does anyone else. But she makes some very, very good, interesting points. And that determines a lot of what actually makes it through into your body, which is therefore what determines whether or not your cells can function this way or that way. Thoroughly recommend checking her out if anyone has the time. Ruddick. No jokes about the last 4 letters of her name, please. This is a serious show. Let's not have any willy-nilly about Mary Ruddock there. Hey, got it in there for you, Mark. Actually, can we highlight this? There we go. So that's just for you, Mark.
Are we going to end up with Dr. Abs bingo? We had Richard Smith bingo in Spain.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Richard Smith, the tremendous nutritionist that he is, when we were in Spain and he was doing a talk, we all know that there's things he loves to say, like phrases that just everyone has phrases they use. But with Richard, it's very obvious. Confer a benefit, you know, living in my box, 4 points and an nephrons, blah, blah, blah. And I created a Richard Smith bingo card during his talk in Spain. And we were just ticking them off as we were going along. And it was good fun. I think maybe we'll do it next year. For any of you joining us in the carnivore show, I think what we'll probably do next year is we'll print them out and I'll hand them out so people can do it as we go along as well, and see what happens.
We'll have to have different ones though, or they'll all be shouting at the same time.
Yeah, we'll have to do see who can get like a line across or something like that and change them all. Looking forward to that one. So next news story, next item on the agenda, chicken turds aside, and Mary Ruddock's vaginal microbes aside as well. The next one, I'm going to share my screen if I can. Share screen. Chrome tab. There we go. Can you just let me know if you can see this, Phil?
Yep.
So this is a guy called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Torre, Torre, Torre Washington. Now, this guy is now a Mr. Olympia entrant, contestant, whatever the word is. And he's a vegan. And it's, I read about this article and I thought, oh, they're trying to make it sound like, veganism is so healthy and good for you. Look what you can achieve on it. Now, when you look at that, Phil, is the first word that comes to your mind out of these two, is the first one that comes to your mind vegan or steroids?
Well, just as Rob put up in the chat right now, roids.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, well done to him. I don't know whether he's vegan or not. A lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
But amazing physique. I'd kill for that physique. Fantastic. But the thing is, I thought when you sent me that about it, that he'd won the Olympia or something. But, no, he's a contestant. But for the Olympia, I think he probably looks better than people in the Olympia, but because they're way bigger. He's not going to get anywhere in the Olympia, is he, at that size?
Well, I think they've got different, I might be wrong on this, but I think they've got different categories. And he's not in the absolute biggest category. I think he's in the physique category as opposed to the all-out size category or whatever. I could be completely wrong on that, and I could be messing it up. So someone correct me in the comments if we are. But he is in that sphere, shall we say, and competing. But the article that I read this, I found there was a few articles talking about it, were trying to phrase it. Yes, this is my subjective opinion or interpretation, I should say, but it seemed to me like they were phrasing it in order to suggest that this way of eating is the main reason why he was able to achieve that and why it's so healthy. Now, I think it's in spite of eating like that, as opposed to because of eating like that. He has trained very, very well over a long period of time. And that is the result of that. I don't think we should take anything from it apart from an advert for steroids and long-term training, nothing else.
Well, what you see with these vegan bodybuilders often is that they build a load of their muscle eating meat, and then they go vegan and make a big noise about it. And then when they give up because they're getting diminishing results, they don't make so much of a noise about it. Yeah. I saw my friend Tim Sheaf. He got in touch with me when he was coming out of veganism, and I was sitting there fishing one night fishing, and I got this message. My God, I don't know what I'm going to do. My businesses are going to be blown up and everything, but I can't lie about this anymore. Well, no, actually, to be fair to Tim, sorry, Tim, he never lied, but I can't preach this anymore. Now I don't believe in it. Wow. And I thought, hold on a minute. Whoa, this is Tim Sheaf. And so we became friends, and he got his contribution to Game Changers taken out.
Ah, right. Yeah, that film.
Yeah. He was in a couple of the other ones, I think, like Forks Over Knives or some of this other crap that fooled, kids into going vegan. But he got his contribution taken out because he said, I just can't live with that anymore. And the attacks then came, especially when he went on the BBC and started talking about not being vegan anymore. But I think if you look at the Game Changers and the athletes since that were featured in the Game Changers, remember Sean Baker did something about it where the performance was going down. They were snapping ligaments and they were doing, everything was going wrong, really. So no, it's nonsense. People just look into it. These people often go vegan for 5 minutes. I don't know about this guy. Who knows?
No, I don't either.
But, as somebody said in the chat, genetic specimen. Yeah, it's some people can do that for a bit when they're young, but it's not going to happen.
This reminds me a little bit of Vegan Gains. Remember that guy?
I remember him? My God, yeah. The guy who said that he hated humans so much that they shouldn't breed that he felt like he wanted to stamp on babies in pushchairs till they were a bloody mess.
I don't know what is behind that. And then he started taking the mick out of a kid with cancer or something.
Just horrible mental instability. Have you seen that video where he's just farting all the time?
No, I don't think I want to be honest. I don't know what were you typing into Google to just watch videos of people farting? I don't know your history, mate.
Somebody else had it as part. I think it might have been Bart who put it up as saying, and look at this section or something like that. It was part of another video, honestly.
So the guy whose name rhymes with fart sent you a fart video.
Yes, well, obviously, yeah, that's it.
But I mean, yeah, it turned out he was using steroids, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I take it back. But wasn't that the case?
What happened? Sorry.
Is it the case that he was taking steroids as well?
Vegan Gains, yeah, he's taking a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
And when he was doing that debate with Bart, he was talking about how much he could bench press and things. And I thought, well, you're taking steroids, so what are you shouting for?
He popped up on one of our old carnivore
I remember
like videos.
UK carnivore thing. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, just going. Oh, you were. Yeah, just going on about how much he can bench press, and that was it. I mean, there's really a lot of mental instability there among these 100%. Vegans. It's very sad. We get often told that we're vegan bashing and stuff, but not really. Yeah. It's just the influencers to stop people, other people going through that hell. I've been through it myself. I got stuck in it myself. And, I've got the probably damaged ureters to show for it from kidney stones.
And you actually spent time in what was basically a fart house, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I did. If nobody's heard that, since this is probably an ideal place to air that story, or rather to methane that story, we had what was known as the fart layer, where if you crawled around, you could probably breathe air, but above that, if you stood up, it was just basically methane. And this was it. I was in a band back then, and we were all vegetarian, not vegan at the time, but it was normal to just sit there like this. You'd go into the band meeting and everyone's just sitting there like that, not laughing or anything, but it was either us or the bass player's dog. And it was just constant. You'd walk into the room, do that, sit down, guys, right, where are the gigs this week? And we didn't twig it. You're not supposed to be farting that much.
You know that group called Blue Man Group?
Yeah.
So what you should have done was called yourselves some name, and your thing, instead of painting yourselves blue, you should have turned up with this. Like the Ninja Group or something like that, but it was just an excuse to hide. You must have loved COVID, or those guys must have loved COVID.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous time. I mean, I was once told at a gig that if I didn't wear a muzzle, I wasn't even allowed to go to the toilet. Yeah, I never went back. It's just absolutely ridiculous, that was. But talking of Blue Man, if anybody tune into the Blue Man episode of Drumeo, Drumeo. Yeah. They just cause absolute chaos at the end. There's paint everywhere. It's well off subject of any diet or anything, but it just brings the Drumeo studio to absolute chaos. They're quite amusing.
Most Alpha's just commented he has a YouTube clip where he runs over his cycle, etc. So I think now for me that has one of two possible meanings for me. The first meaning, which I thought of in my head, is clearly the wrong one. I thought he meant there's a YouTube video where he drives over his bicycle.
I thought that, yeah.
But I think what he means to say is talking about what steroids he's taking.
No. It was to do with his menstrual cycle after all this soy that he eats.
Oh, Christ. Well, that makes sense. So yeah, that's the vegan Mr. Olympia, or the steroid Mr. Olympia, let's call it. Third item. We have 5 items today, and then a little thing at the end. The third item is Kerry Mann adding in fermented foods. Now, Kerry Mann, Homestead How, big following, is making what sounds like a terrific documentary that I cannot wait to watch about the carnivore space and his journey. And he's interviewed some really great people by the sounds of it. And I do hope that a lot of people do watch it. But recently he has been adding back in specifically, I think, fermented foods after speaking to Sean O'Mara. Have you seen this, Phil?
Yes, I did watch it. And it's the usual Bart piss take fest. Yeah. Although he's very cool and says, Kerry, I do love you and all that. But he does have a proper go at Sean O'Mara.
Yeah.
And I think rightly, because as we said earlier on, nobody really understands about the microbiome. And he's going on about good bacteria and bad bacteria. And do we really know which is which? Yeah. Are these things the paramedic at the car crash and not the car crash? So, people say we need this really diverse microbiome. I think a great quote was Sean Baker once, who said that, you know, a healthy microbiome is one that a healthy person has, and that varies widely. So we don't really know, and people get trapped into this thing of thinking that you have to put all these microbes in from fermented food. But again, it's okay. How can I explain it? I always get the vision of sort of parachuting a few sort of unarmed troops behind enemy lines. Like just sort of putting a few little microbes in there for a time. Does it really do anything? The body's just going to balance out what it needs and what it doesn't need. It's not going to happen. I mean, if you put some, I'm not a massive fan of the full virus theory and, you know, germ theory and stuff, but there are definitely some pathogenic bacteria. And if you put them in there, you're going to get very sick. However, these other ones, they don't stand up. They don't, you know, if it was going to work, you'd take a sip of that stuff and suddenly you're reseeded. I'm not scientific in this, but that's what my logic says. And I remember when I used to take a ton of probiotics, we used to make kombucha and make sauerkraut and all of that sort of thing. And when maybe they do have some beneficial effect to offset the effect of the other vegetables you're eating in the diet, but when you don't eat any, you don't seem to need any. You know, I don't do it. I've got at the moment our old fermenting jar. I've got it catching all the drips out of our knackered boiler at the moment. We haven't been able to get fixed.
Better use for it, frankly.
That is the only use it's had for about 15 years.
And I think there's a lot of talk also about something called a fecal transplant. Okay, this is to do with the microbiome. They transfer someone else's poo inside you, basically. And, you know, there are anecdotal reports that you do that and someone's acne just completely disappears. There may be something to that, but it doesn't mean we go around, you know, getting jars and holding it under other people's anuses to collect their poo and then reverse funnel it into ourselves with a pump or anything like that. Okay. The microbiome, I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. That's up to you. No judgment here. Whatever people want to do in their spare time. But the microbiome is a dependent variable. What does it depend on? It depends on what you are doing in your life, what you are eating in your life. It's the result of the sum of all the decisions that you make. Playing in the dirt as a child, whether you were born C-section or not, which, you know, I've learned from Mary Ruddock, credit to her. What foods you eat, etc., etc. You aren't going to go with a tweezer and pair of tweezers and manipulate everything inside the gut. It's a dependent variable, which means you have to worry about the independent variables, which is all your conscious choices in your life, and it will be whatever it needs to be. So I'm not, you know, certain people are, you know, barking up the right tree. I think the associations are very interesting between this microbiome, whatever that may be, and this observation. But I don't think you can do anything causal because you can't isolate these things inside someone. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. And I think if you want to learn about the microbiome, again, Mary Ruddock, absolutely the one to go for. If you do speak to her, do ask her about, you know, her thoughts on what happens to your microbiome during oral sex. I think she has some great answers there. Don't tell her I sent you or Phil. But just ask her. She's available on Instagram and her website as well. And let's just see.
That was another one of the pranks. Suddenly I got a message from Mary saying, my tampons have disappeared from my room, and I'm very disappointed about this. They were very posh silk ones, and as they were just next to my butt plug, which has disappeared as well. And I thought, is this really Mary? Because she is kind of naughty as well and has a great sense of humor. But no, it was either you or Tom, my son, who had nicked. Was it both? There was a lot of nicking other people's phones and sending messages.
So yeah, what Phil was referring to, the Carnival Retreat in Spain, where we have some of the, you know, some fantastic speakers from around the world, and then you guys come. It's a week of really intimate learning and having a chance to mingle with all these people face to face, one to one. It'll be happening again next year, about the same dates, I guess, right? November, Phil, yeah?
Yes. 23rd till the 29th next year in November. Please come along. You can check out carnivorespain.com. That's the other landing page at the moment. The other one will be up in a couple of weeks. But get onto my Substack, philescott.substack.com, and there'll be lots of news about it. Abs will be back as long as he promises to misbehave as much as he did last time.
Even more.
Excellent. There's a great comment here, actually. I started listening to King Crimson's Lark's Tongues in Aspic Part 2, and I feel healthy now. Not only is that probably the best probiotic you could have, but my favorite band. Not only that, I used to know Bill Bruford and hang out at his house, and I've even played some King Crimson stuff live on the drums. So
wow,
there we go. King Crimson.
I don't think I can name a single King Crimson song, if I'm honest.
Probably the finest band that ever came out of England. Absolutely marvelous. And there was something. I mean, Robert Fripp started this band, right? Very serious, very sort of a brilliant musician, amazing. He ended up married to Toyah Willcox. Right. And now everybody knows Toyah and her lisp. And I remember seeing her interviewed once talking about probiotics and stuff. And she said, I remember the phrase where she said, "I love the feeling of my man's themen inside me." And I thought, God's sake, that's a bad image for me now. That's one of my heroes.
What, you know, that links back to the microbiome that we've been talking about.
Exactly.
That will have an effect.
Yeah, it ruined my image of Robert Fripp, though. But there we go.
But do you know what? What would happen to your microbiome if you kept doing that all the time? I wonder what Mary's answer would be. We can ask if all of you watching, feel free to pose that question to Mary Rudder.
Oh God!
And we'll see how long it takes her to explain to me and Phil on WhatsApp.
You know, one thing about that fecal implant thing.
Yeah.
Because Asa Santiago mentioned that when I put a post up the other day about the microbiome. And he mentioned that sometimes it can stop that flood. I put up a lovely meme that Pranavan Yoganathan put up a while ago, like a few years ago, with a plumber trying to stop a massive leak out of a pipe and saying, you know, this is somebody trying to fix it with probiotics. You know, it doesn't work. And he did make the point that can sometimes do it. But is there not a time where sometimes it's gone horribly wrong? And they've taken over weird characteristics of whoever's turd they've got. It's like, you know, Russian turdette, really, isn't it? As to whether it's going to go right or not.
Okay, I guess it could be a type of, you know, offensive weapon. Which shit would you like, Mr. Bond? This one or this one or this one? And then he picks it up and it just bumps it through. And it gives you this weird personality.
Good God.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the turd of someone with schizophrenia and you put that into someone, will that give some odd brain changes? Perhaps it sounds funny, but it's an interesting question.
Yeah, you see, I've heard things like that. Yeah, that they take on the character. Just like when people get heart transplants and stuff. I mean, obviously. Yeah. That's more serious and more permanent, but where they take on the characteristics of the person whose heart they received. You never know.
I mean, well, there was a TV show a long time ago, before 2010. I think it was around 2008, and it was called Dollhouse. And I believe the premise of the show was there are these agents in this government agency, and they need them to solve certain crimes. But what they do is they have like no memory. So you implant the memory, and they become a person who can then go and use those memories to solve the crime. I'm wondering if they missed something here, and they could have just done some sort of shit funnel and just collected the turds of whoever they want, you know, to replicate, and put the turds inside. And it's like a battery, and you power it up, and it's like turning the key on someone, and you let them go. You fill them full of shit, and then they go, and they're powered by shit. I think that could be, you know, a good.
That's it. Just don't reveal too much because we're on it. We shall see if we can get somebody to produce that. Marvelous. It's like Viz Comics' idea of you know, celebrity bumhole.
What?
Where they had to stick their asses through a hole, and then they had to guess which celebrity it was.
Oh my God.
I mean, Viz Comic is a wealth of information. It's you know, the whole thing about doing some sort of a turd shaped like Harvey Kellogg. You know, I remember something in Viz where it was somebody had seen the face of Jesus in a pile of vomit outside a kebab shop on Saturday night, and everybody had gone Christian. You know, it's like that. It will convince you of that sort of thing. It must be true because it was in Viz Comic. You know?
Yeah. Bloody hell. I mean, what? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that would be a good
somebody's getting fed up with our nonsense. We've got some things. I have been watching this actually. So can I do quickly Katerina's one here? How long does it take PKD to reverse?
I thought we could answer that at the end because we've got that section at the end, but we're going to talk about something positive, and I think that will really help Katerina.
Okay, excellent. So we shall do that then.
This one here. This says my skin has gone super sensitive to vitamin C serum after tretinoin, though glowing. What can I do if I want to add vitamin C serum in my routine? Which vitamin C you would tell me? I'm 22. Well, there's not enough information there to really give a thorough recommendation. Because, for example, what does glowing mean? Does that mean it's inflamed? If it's inflamed, then you probably shouldn't be using either, and you need something to bring down the inflammation. Because there's no definition of the word glowing, so I don't know what that means. If you want to add vitamin C, for some reason you have to, I would look at a sort of low risk form, which is less reactive, maybe something like, say, magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, which is going to be much less stinging than something like direct L-ascorbic acid, as an example. There's one ingredient you can have a look at, but it doesn't mean it's right for you because we'd need to see the skin to be able to give a better recommendation. God, bless me. You see, my immune system's going. I need to add carbs back in. I need someone's shit inside me that doesn't sneeze.
I'm disappointed that you didn't do a sweary sneeze.
What's a sweary sneeze?
Well, you have to. I mean, it starts off. It's like sweary burping. You start off with arse, which is obviously the easiest swear word to burp, and then I get very cross with my kids if they waste a burp or a sneeze without swearing.
The life of the Escott household, ladies and gents.
Sad, me.
And we've got one here. Can you give some vegan diet routine for anti-aging benefits?
Yeah, eat meat.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah. Have a diet that is not depleted of micronutrients, and that has the things that are essential in there, i.e. not carbohydrates, chronically at least. I think that is a succinct answer. Jen says, what about a carnivore cruise? We could do something like that, and then but then you wouldn't be able to ground.
Exactly. I picked up on your thought. That would be
we have a connection here.
Yeah. Well, you could make sure that, you know, if people who wanted to ground, they could get keel hauled once a day or something.
And drag them outside the ship or something like that.
Yeah. So we can have Tom's breath work, which then enables you to hold your breath for like 4 minutes plus.
Oh, perfect.
We'll drag you under the boat. Yeah,
we'll do that. Tom is Phil's son, for those that don't know, and he's very experienced and knowledgeable in breath work. And he can teach you how to do it and get some benefits from it. So we can do that on like one day, and then drag people behind the ship on a rope the next day, so they can get grounded and they can hold their breath. Brilliant! That's Jen. That's a top idea there. And then the day after that, we can do some shit swapping or something, or feel a part of a community there. And then see how it goes. What is PKD? We will get to that. That is actually on the show today. Do not worry. And so let's get to the next item. Almost there. We have item number 4 out of 5. Item number 4 is Bart K has a new course teaching you how to read scientific literature. Unfortunately, because I am so unprepared, as I was in school all those years, I forgot what the course is called, but it's on his channel and you can watch it for free. So for those of you interested in how to read a scientific paper, which is not easy, by the way, it really, really isn't easy, because there are things that anyone can do, like looking at financial interests and biases and things like that. But then to go into the nitty gritty, you've got to have experience in that field. And statistics is not easy either, but Bart has a free course. Big shout out to Professor, as usual. Yeah, go check it out. I don't know if you've seen that, Phil. I think you've probably only heard of it when I mentioned it, but the other day.
Yeah, I tried to watch some, but you know, it's like your talks in Spain. I've got to say to everyone, absolutely, utterly brilliant they were. You know, after you stop sounding like a hamster at the beginning of one of them.
So for those that don't know, Phil and the sound guy played a prank on me where whenever I spoke on the mic, the pitch would go up and I would sound like I was a prepubescent church mouse, and it would just be squeaky, basically. But fair game, fair game. I liked that. I liked that. Bring it on.
Yeah, that was after your first slide just had an arrow pointing to me saying Phil is the pillock.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I think it was great. I think a lot of people were really enjoyed the chaos of it. But you know, one person did say I didn't pay all that money to see Phil and Abs behaving like 12-year-olds, which I thought was a bit of a bullseye, really, because it sort of winkled out the people with not much of a sense of humor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did try and watch that, but you know, science and me, they don't go together. I've learned stuff just simply because I was stupid enough to eat enough crap to make me really sick.
Yeah.
And I think there's a phrase that it was for bipolar people, I think, where they said that, you know, bipolar people are like everybody else, only more so. And the same goes for autoimmune people.
Yeah.
You know, if I eat something wrong, I feel it real quick. And I think a lot of other people do. And so, you know, the scientific thing, I try and listen to people when they've sort of digested it and spat it out in a form that I can understand. But to be honest, if, you know, Barton really knows about these studies, they know he knows how to read them. Abs really has a scientific brain and he can understand them. I don't, I never will. You know, I don't even, I've been playing drums 55 years and I can't even sight read music. I can't be asked. I just want to play stuff. I just want to experience stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's it. But brilliant. You know, if you want to learn how to read scientific papers, Bart's your guy for sure.
Yeah, he is a top guy. He's got multiple advanced research degrees, for those that don't know. And he has his character on YouTube of this sort of, you know, we talked about putting shit up our asses. Bart comes across in his character that he plays as someone with a stick up his ass. But it is a character because he's genuinely one of the loveliest people you've ever met behind the scenes.
Totally.
Yeah, and he's a really, really nice guy. And he's so on it with his scientific papers. There's little that I don't think me and him, when we've done videos together, and even when I thought there are things that we disagree on, it turns out we actually agree, at least in the major parts of it. So yeah, definitely check him out. It's completely free, and he has a Patreon if you want to go into something paid as well. But honestly, the free stuff will teach you an incredible amount. Top guy. And Lucy,
hi Lucy, by the way. Hello.
She was present at the carnivore retreat as well. She was there. She was there. Who was she with? Richard. She came with Richard and came on the same flight. I remember picking her up from the airport. Last item on the agenda today, before we have the final special thing at the end. So I'm going to share my screen for something quite interesting, which is a scientific paper, because we aren't completely full of shit. We do want some non-shit in our asses as well. And so this is to that end. So this is a scientific paper that was very recently released, just, if I'm not mistaken, last month, actually. And I'm glad it's now picking up a little bit of traction, at least in some places. This is a paper that talks about what happens if you were taking these GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, Mounjaro, etc., and then you were to suddenly stop. Now, in the people observed in this study, in this cohort of people who stopped these drugs, as soon as they stopped them, some of the problems that they had returned. Now, I'm not going to go into massive amounts of detail, but it is there. That is the actual title. You can Google it, and it's free. Anyone can get it through open access. But they found that, you know, they got the body weight back. You know, in this, they're reporting in the findings gain of around 5.63 kilos based on the data that they analyzed, increase in HbA1c as well, waist circumference, BMI, systolic blood pressure, fasting plasma glucose, all of these things started to have a bit of a what they call a rebound effect, to use the title for a second. And that for me is a really interesting paper. It's brand new, and I think if you're interested, have a look at that. And it's another reason to see that these drugs are not treating the root cause of metabolic problems like hypertension, high blood pressure, or obesity, or similar things. So again, I'm sure you agree with me, Phil, when I say they're not a good idea. Obesity is not caused by lack of drugs or drug deficiency. I think it might be caused by what you put in your mouth, which is something entirely different. And it's, it's not, who knows, maybe we can one day get to a point where we can take a thin person's shit in our own anus and we can go from obese to thin and take those properties. Maybe that's an interesting experiment. But, do you know what? I don't think that would, because even if you do that and you carry on eating cheeseburgers all the time, full of fake meat and plastic and bread and whatever, I think you'll still be obese anyway. You'll just poo out the other person's poo and you'll have your own poo where your poo should be.
That's exactly. And I think that it's kind of been shown to me because my missus is a nurse, and a load of them are being conned onto it because obviously they're not taught how to eat. They've had a load of the unmentionables in their arms and they're not well. And they're even worse now. They're taking this Manjaro and Ozempic, and just another load of crazy crap just to stop people actually eating right, and keep that food pyramid going and people dependent or desperate to be a different shape. And this is what's going on. It's all hand in hand with the drug companies, the food companies, and these terrible things like Slimming World and Weight Watchers. Which are just set up for repeat business. So it's all round and round that circle, and nothing good will ever come of it, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think people need to wake up and realize if you want to lose weight, if you want to help your diabetes, you can do so without spending any money or without spending any more money, without buying drugs. You can do it with simple lifestyle interventions. I always advocate for that method as being the priority, the drug-free, expensing free option of just changing your diet and lifestyle.
So Lucy, this is a puzzling comment here because they've done twin studies with fetal transplants. So I'm assuming you mean fecal because, otherwise maybe you would be taking one twin out and then transplanting them somewhere else because this is a fetus, right? This is a completely different type of transplant. I'm confused whether that's a misprint or
it must have some sort of baby sucking device that reaches into the womb and then puts it in and then plants it in someone else. A bit like when you can lift a tree up and then put it somewhere else.
Yeah. It is fecal. I thought so.
Fecal, yes.
There we go, Lucy.
So a comment is one very large metabolically unhealthy twin after medication and antibiotic use and restoring to the well slim twin health, identical studies. I'm not entirely sure of the rhetoric of that sentence to understand what she's saying. Can you make it out, Phil?
Not really.
No. I think maybe she's got some shit in her brain after a long day of work. I don't know.
You've got to take some stick when you come on this one.
Yes, you got to. She's used to it though. She's used to it. She's one of us.
She is. She's great. Yeah, she's great. I don't know. Is it something about transplanting the poo from one twin to another?
It must be. Must be.
And
yeah. But that's a scientific paper that's recently been released. I would like to highlight that. I think.
For fuck's sake.
I think it's worth your time. Anyone that you know who's taking these drugs or thinking of taking these drugs, show them that and make them realize that they need to think twice if they are going to go on these things. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen there. And we have the final part of the show. This is planned to be about an hour. I think we're on time here. And all news broadcasts are doom and gloom because that's what sells. People want to hear about the drama, about, the heartache and things like that. We would like to do the opposite. We would like to talk about some good stuff, good recommendations and stuff that is nice. And we don't know what to call this part of the show. If you can think of a pun, tell us. Loose correct equals poo transplant. One sick twin from well twin. Eh?
Yeah,
Poo?
I thought so.
Yeah, must be that. So this sort of positive recommendation, whatever we call this part of the show, this week or this month is going to be a person. It could be a person, it could be a paper, it could be a clinic, it could be a whatever. It's a person this time, and the person we would like to highlight for very, very positive reasons is someone called Sophia Clemens. I didn't know too much about Sophia, actually, or her work, frankly, mainly because I live in a cave most of the time, before the carnivore retreat, which was last month in November. But when I sat there listening to her talk at the carnivore retreat, so many kind of light bulbs flicked on in my mind, and I realized she's talking complete and utter sense. There's not many people out there that understand and use ketosis therapeutically, specifically for healing the body in, let's say, autoimmune disorders as an example, or whatever else we're looking at. She even treats cancer patients as well. And I think the way that she's understanding ketosis and leveraging that as part of a medical treatment, I think is amazing. Really, really amazing. And the way that she says that, you need to eat more fat when you're sick because of the micronutrients that are in there. And there is a place for organ meats when you are sick because you need more micronutrients at that point. It just made so much sense. And I thought she was brilliant. I thought her work was brilliant. Since the carnivore retreat, I've watched multiple interviews that you have done with her on your channel. And there's other talks that she's done as well, and so I'd just like to give a big shout out to Sophia. I don't know if she's watching. She's probably got better things to do than listen to us twats drone on all day. But if she's ever in London, dinner is on me, and definitely into you on my podcast as well. You've spoken to her many times. You've known her for a long time, haven't you? I know she's helped you and your family personally as well.
Yeah, she's great. I met her first in 2019 at the first carnival conference we did in Spain. And she is wonderful. But yeah, I think Abs is just sort of bigging her up here because he's trying to get back in her good books after some horrendous stuff that went on. This is another one of the pranks where I
have no idea what he's talking about. No idea what he's talking about.
He wanted to get Jafir on the podcast, and I said to him that he'd probably got no chance because I'd told Jafir that he had become completely obsessed with her and was grafting her face onto horrible sort of porno scenes.
No, I was carving it into trees. That's what I was doing.
And then sharing it with other people. And I said to Abs, I think she's going to get the police involved. And so I sent it to Jafir as well. And she's also got a great sense of humor. She's going, "Oh, you naughty boys," But she's brilliant. And she, I've sat next to Jafir at various conferences, and sometimes we both had our heads in our hands at what's been said. We won't name particular speakers, but not carnivore ones particularly, but the sort of more widely, sort of wider subject type of events. But she was really impressed with your talk as well, and she was really blown away and said she wished she'd had a biochemistry teacher like you. But yeah, so yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about Jafir. I think from my own experience, there is a massive difference between even a real high-fat carnivore diet with dairy, pork, chicken, and eggs, and one with just beef and lamb and some organ meats and very high fat. No dairy whatsoever. There is a huge difference. When people come to me for a consult and say, "Oh, carnivore's not working," for me, it's always pork, chicken, dairy, or eggs, or some of them, for autoimmunity. And Jafir, the results they have at Paleo Medicina with the PKD thing, they are absolutely fantastic. And some people say that they're too strict and too down the line. I don't think so. I think you need to get that strict when you're in that much of a mess. And somebody who's really inflamed with horrible rheumatoid arthritis, really don't waste time like I did. I lost a wrist and a knee to it by delaying. Fatty beef, lamb, salt water, some organ meats for a supplement. That's the only supplement you need at that time. I think Bart's right. The long-term carnivores don't need the organ meats, but to use it as a supplement, like a pound a week of liver, that kind of thing, some bone marrow, some this kind of thing, just no pork, no chicken, no dairy, no eggs. And she's spot on. The results are incredible. It's not just reversing autoimmunity and things like that. I mean, you know, they're putting a stop to glioblastomas and stuff and halting them. It's amazing. Yeah,
published as well. There's literature on that, and you can actually go there. That's public, peer reviewed, and you can go and have a read as well. And the reason I wanted to highlight Sophia is because we are, in the past few months, like we said at the start of the show, we are seeing a lot of people adding carbs back in and justifying it in some way. And, you know, they have their reasons. That's fine. It doesn't affect me. I'm not that bothered. However, different people will go carnivore, and for some people it works and some people it won't work, and some people have problems and some people don't. When you look at what Sophia is achieving in her clinic, you know, with all these serious medical problems, how is it that nearly all of them, if I'm not mistaken, if not all of them, are seeing improvement? There's something to be said about the way she's implementing that diet. And someone in the comments earlier said, you know, what is PKD? PKD is Paleolithic ketogenic diet, which is something that she has really, really pioneered. And when she uses that, let's call it a version of carnivore, just for the argument's sake, for the conversation today. When she uses that version of carnivore, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's incredible what she's achieving. And it's so consistent. That's the thing. When you go carnivore, everyone does it differently and there's inconsistency. When you do what Sophia does, phenomenal consistency in even really sick people, which is more difficult, you know, to take people from really the bottom of the barrel and bring them up to where they are. So have a look at her on Google. You'll find her website, Sophia Clemens. I'll just put her comment. That's the spelling of her name, and try and understand what she's doing with PKD.
No, that's not the spelling. It's Z and an S. It's Z and S is the other way around. Yeah, and then a little thingy over the O, little acute.
Okay, like this. I will get this comment up on screen like that.
Let's have a look. That's it. Spot on. Yeah.
Perfect. So have a look at that. And you look on her website, you can find some of the scientific literature that she's published as well. Honestly, it's extraordinary. The only thing for me about Sophia that is a negative is the fact that she doesn't shout about what she does. You know, some people see that as a positive because she's, you know, she's very confident in herself. That's great. But I think she should be shouting more, or at least other people should be shouting for her, which is why I would like to interview her on my podcast one day if she's ever in London. To highlight what she does. I think she's, I'm intellectually stunned by her, and I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing, and yeah. I think sorry, I had to add in Oreos for health reasons. To just, you see these comments.
Nick Norwich fan here.
Excellent. Yeah, I think she is, you know, her place is what do you call it? Her business. Hungary. It's not business, but it's paleomedicina in Hungary. That's the clinic that she runs. Yeah. But I think that she's kind of quiet about it because she gets enough business. You know, she just so she gets it, and she isn't really massively sort of outgoing and wanting to do loads of videos and stuff. But I'm with you. I think more people should know about this.
Yeah,
because when people go lion, the thing is lion diet, you know, but it doesn't really specify the fat ratios. And this is really, really key to healing the gut, because even those proteins can cause flares. Yeah. Where I can hear Sophia now going, you know, she looks at blood results and go, too much protein. And I know she can see it, that people are not keeping to those fat ratios.
Absolutely.
And then it will slow it down. And people tend to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And then things go wrong. And then you kind of sound like a vegan. Oh, you did it wrong. But no, in those early days, you've really got to nail it. And that, honestly, if I could go back to myself in 2010 and just say, look, high fat, beef, lamb, salt and water, bit of liver, do it now. Yeah, I'd be in a very much different shape now, you know, without the damage that I caused in the 5 years after that, before I figured it out. Yeah.
I mean, after her talking carnivore retreat in Spain, typically a meal for me will be a couple of steaks, maybe 3. And that was basically it. A bit of salt on top, some sparkling water or whatever. After her talk, I now have a big dollop of beef tallow. And I use it almost as a sauce. Yeah. And people don't realize that going carnivore is one thing, but it doesn't actually mean anything, because there's so many ways to do it. And like, no wonder some people actually don't do well on it, because they're not getting what they need from it. There are ways where you can use any diet and tick certain boxes and not. And I think the way she talks about the requirement for those macro ratios, I think she's onto something. I think she's absolutely on something, and definitely go check her out. If anyone, the one that you know that you care about is ill, get them to check out her clinic, Paleo Medicina in Hungary, and see what they can do to help. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and do watch I've got a video on my channel,
yes,
and it's on my Red Pill Sangha podcast.
Yeah,
it's up there twice actually, of the old Red Pill Buddhist one, but I called it the ultimate autoimmunity interview, or why all dairy hurts. I think the second time I put it out.
Yeah,
and it really, keep an open mind. If there's any like raw milk fans out there, keep an open mind about that for people with autoimmunity. Have a look at it, because you really, just dropping the dairy out. They put dairy up with kind of grains and seed oils in Paleo Medicina, and a lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of people really delay their healing for autoimmunity with that. So yeah, she is absolutely my guru as far as diet goes. I think she's brilliant.
Yeah, amazing. So I think that is a roundup. That's shall we say, the end of our first ever show for this. One quick comment here from Lucy. I think about the proportions in the animal as dosage for percentage of added fat in the meal. There's so much fat in an animal when butchered. Most I discarded and not kept with the meat. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. And I think Sophia's highlighting that to us. Tim says, laughed out loud to the spontaneous solution to grounding on a cruise. Well done. Thank you.
Hello, Tim. I know Tim. He's very nice. Cool. He's funny too. Tim's got a great sense of humor.
Good. We like that. We like people's senses of humors. There we go. Thank you very much for watching, Mark. And we will do this probably towards the end of Jan as well, when there's been enough time for more shit to take place, shall we say, pun intended. And there's some news to update you all on. And but yeah,
and do come along to the next carnivore retreat, because last year
in November,
it sold out by February, and it is pretty high ticket one, that one, but it's so beautiful, so exclusive. You'll never have a better week, in an event like that. But also we have one in August in Rainford in Merseyside, the Ancestral Health Festival. And I'm hoping to get Abs to talk at that, but he's pretty lazy with that. He just tends to use it as a place to show off his Ferrari. And so he comes up.
He's making that up.
I'm absolutely not. He's.
I have a Nissan Micra, for those wondering.
No, he doesn't. He pretends to have Ferraris. He's broken into somebody's place in Canary Wharf, I think, and he's got a moped, and he hasn't even got a full license for that. It's got an L plate.
To be fair, it's fully electric, that moped. Free charging, free parking. It's brilliant. It gets me around London very well.
Yeah. Where can you stay updated on these events? Please go to my channel. You can find out how to sign up to my Substack for free. You'll get 3 free ebooks as well. But I use that pretty much as a mailing list, and you'll get updated on both these events as we get closer to organizing them. If you contact me privately, I've already sold a few rooms for Spain next year, even before we've finalized the speakers. But I tell you one that I finalized just yesterday. I'm really excited because I wanted to meet him for ages, which is Dr. Ankur Verma.
Oh, yes.
And he's coming. Yeah, he's coming from India. And he's such a cool guy, great guy. So we've definitely got Ankur there. So, but, a few other people and lots of stuff going on, and music and gigs at the one that we've got at in Rainford that I organized with the absolutely wonderful Lydia Olka. Yeah. And so please.
Spain will sell out, by the way. We're not just saying that. It has sold out last month very early, and I think the one before as well. I suspect, again, by around February or March, it's going to be sold out again in November. So if you're interested, it's up to you whether you want to delay or not, but it will sell out.
Yeah. So contact me through my channel, email through my website, philescott.com, to ask me about that. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have the event page up, but it's not there yet. But you can still reserve a room if you want, and they're already going before I've even got the event page up. So get in from people who went before, because they always want to go back. It's great.
Yeah, good stuff. So thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you roughly in a month's time. In terms of the exact date, we will put stuff out on our social media, including Instagram and YouTube, and we'll join you then. Take care Don't fill yourself up with too much of someone else's shit, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.